Hey guys, I'm going to be doing a resin video. I'm still very much a beginner. However, I do really enjoy doing resin work, so I wanted to kind of practice today, and I wanted to kind of put a little disclaimer. I use art resin, which is a non-toxic form, so I technically do not need a respirator. However, I'm going to take precautions and wear gloves. This stuff is extremely sticky and messy, but hopefully it won't turn out badly. But I wanted to kind of make this as a little video just because I've never done any resin stuff on camera. I am going to be doing something today that is really special to me, and I'm really hoping that it's not going to turn out to be a failure, because what I'm doing is taking this rose petals, rose, I think it's bud, I don't know. The tip of this rose, which was from my brother's funeral. We had gotten a couple dozens of roses and had decorated his tables at the hotel that we had a celebration of life for him. And then we were right next to the beach. And so that night we did lanterns, and then we took some of those roses and tossed them into the ocean. My sister, brother, me, my mom, and a couple of his really close friends and his basically wife, but they weren't married. But yeah, I have this left, and I brought it all the way over from where I flew out of. I put it in a bag and hoped that it wasn't going to get smashed or ruined, and it surprisingly didn't. This is one of the only molds that can fit the petal. I'm really nervous because I have one and that's it from there, and if I ruin it, then I am going to be really upset. I also have a couple of these little pendants because I want to try to do resin work with this, and I bought this off of Amazon. I bought actually literally everything off of Amazon. The last time I worked with this tape, the backs of the pendants had the little sticky crap on them. I think what I did wrong was I pressed too hard on the tape when I was setting those things on. So this time I'm just going to lightly set the stuff on top without pressing on it and hoping that it won't stick, because I'm really upset because I really liked how these pendants turned out, but they're ruined. I've tried sanding them, I've tried everything I can think of, getting adhesive remover, alcohol, like anything I can think of to get it off, and they're ruined. And I did probably 12 pendants. I do have a heat gun as well as lighters. I'm probably gonna have a lot of bubbles. I'm not very great at getting the bubbles out. I do have some interference gold and then macro pearl. I don't know if I'm gonna add those or not. I'm gonna kind of see if I add a tiny bit what it looks like. Safety first. We put the handy dandy gloves on. So if I remember right, I think you want to do the hardener in the middle first and then the resin after. I'm gonna do 2 and then 4. So let's get this going. One of the annoying parts is that when you pour, it also kind of goes all wonky because of the static. We did 2, so we're gonna go up to the 4 because it's 1 part each. I'm still most certainly a beginner when working with resin, so don't roast me if you're an expert at resin work. So I found that resin is very difficult to work with if you're not patient, and it's also difficult to work with if you are a perfectionist. You can see it's extremely cloudy. There's quite a bit of bubbles, but when working with resin, the more you stir it, the more bubbles that are going to happen. So you want to stir it slowly, and then once everything starts to mix together, it's going to be a lot less cloudy. So there's a lot of bubbles in this thing. Art resin is actually typically not supposed to be for thick, deep items like this because it can bubble pretty easily, and the only way to get rid of the bubbles is heat, or alcohol spray, I guess, helps. And it has to be a certain number of alcohol percentage or whatever, but I don't typically use that. I just use the heat gun and then a lighter usually. I'm gonna just start to kind of use the heat from the lighter to get rid of these bubbles. Okay, so unfortunately the resin kept on really making the flower float in the square, so I put it in this geode thing, and I think it's gonna work out much better than the other thing. So it's still sticking out a little bit, but I can handle that. Hopefully this turns out okay, but I'm just gonna keep kind of pushing it down a little bit and popping the bubbles for the next probably like 45 minutes or whatever until it starts to get thick and it can't move. So I got a long ways ahead of me. Okay, so I did one pendant and then two, and then here's the rose. And I did have some extra, so I went ahead and poured it in this little triangle thing. I'm going to let that cure, and then I'm going to add a second layer because I've never done that before, and I think I'm going to do a different color just to see what it looks like. But yeah, this is all the resin. I'm going to go wash my hands and let this sit. It's going to take 24 hours to cure, so I will finish the video out once that happens. So I thought I was good and I didn't get any on my hands, but unfortunately I did on these 3 fingers. So I'm going to kind of just run it under some warm water and some soap, wash my hands a few times, try to get rid of that sticky feeling, but not much I can do other than just wait for it to go away, because definitely is going to be there for a while, which is so annoying and it feels really gross. Alright, so it's been 24 hours and I'm going to test this out. It kind of stuck on some places, but that's much better than it was before, but it still did stick on some parts, but that's much easier to work with, I guess, but still annoying because it still did come off in certain places. I think you can see there. So this tape from Amazon is not good. Do not get it. It sucks. Okay, so I also did this, but obviously I still need to pour the other half, so I'm going to keep this on here. Good news is that this feels smooth, so that means that the stuff that I used for the resin for my rose is good. So hopefully it's gonna be okay. But it did stick out a little bit, so I'll probably have to sand it down for it to sit up like this. But I'm hoping that it'll be fine. Oh gosh. Trey, I might have to have you help me. You want to say hi to everybody? I think she's about to go in another heat cycle because she's being really cuddly and noisy. Big girl.
You have to slip your knife in there.
You can't get it? Let me see it.
It's like set above it, so you can't really pull it apart.
Okay, so it's a few days later. I ended up getting the rose petal thing out last night, finally, and I wanted to show you guys the aftermath results, whatever. By the way, Bruna's in heat right now. She's having her second heat ever, and she's at the early stages. So if you hear her crying, that's why. Yeah, that's what I've been dealing with. So we're gonna get her fixed after this heat cycle, so we don't have to worry about her having ovarian cancer and everything. And honestly, it looks like it's painful. So yeah, but anyways, okay. So this is how it turned out. I wanted to get it in good lighting. So it's kind of got some spots that are really, I don't know, hard to tell because it's pretty cloudy. And then there's quite a bit of bubbles just because this is such a thick piece that I was able to spray. And then obviously here I need to sand it down, and I'm probably gonna have to sand this part down here because it just stuck out. I couldn't get it to stay down. I would have liked it to go all the way down to the bottom, but it didn't. I think it looks pretty cool still though, so I like how it turned out. It's just a really pretty little piece that I'll be able to keep for the rest of my life, and it's from my brother's funeral, so it's that much more important to me. I'm glad it turned out okay and didn't completely ruin. I do wish that some of the flakes had broken up a little bit more, so it's not perfect, but for my first flower ever, and the fact that it kept floating up to the top, and the fact that it was so thick, it turned out pretty good. The other 2 pieces, I think I showed them in another clip, they stuck to that paper, so that was pointless for those stupid pendants. And then I ended up doing another triangle, and I actually have to mix another half and pour that on top, so I haven't done that yet. I don't know if I'll end up getting that in this video just because I'm probably going to edit this video tonight. So by the time it is done, because it takes 24 hours to cure, this video is probably going to be up. So what I could do is probably post it on my Instagram or maybe in my community page if someone wants to see what it looks like. It's just a triangle and I'm trying 2 layers to see how it connects. Yeah, I just wanted to finish this video off because I know that I didn't finish it. So thank you guys so much for watching. May all your stars align, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.